Hello, and welcome to Boring History for Sleep. Tonight, we'll drift slowly beneath the waves. Not in a storm, or with urgency, but like silt settling on the seabed, gently, gradually. And without resistance, you're safe here. There's nothing to do. Just let your body rest as we travel far and deep into the quiet spaces of history. Somewhere out there, under the surface of today's seas, lie cities and villages. Ritual sites and hearths, stories once told by firelight, now only remembered through stone, salt, and time. These are the silent civilizations. Lost not to war, but to water. We begin in Doggerland. Let's go back in time. Not centuries, but millennia. Back to when the land bridge between Britain and Europe was alive with people. Gathering shellfish by hand and listening to seabirds. So now let your eyes grow heavy. Your breath slow down, and imagine yourself there.
You wake to a sky that is grey. Not heavy, just soft. Like wool soaked in salt water. The hut around you, woven from reeds and driftwood, creaks a little as you shift. The dampness has made everything soft. And just a little cold. Not biting cold, but enough to make you hesitate before you crawl from the mat of dried grass and seaweed you slept on. Outside, the ground is soft beneath your bare feet. It squishes, quietly as you step across it. A mixture of silt, sand, and roots. Forever changing, forever slightly sinking. This is Doggerland. It's the Mesolithic era. Somewhere around 8,000 years ago. You don't know the year. You don't know what Mesolithic means. But you do know the tides. They are everything. Your world stretches flat in every direction. Grassy plains giving way to wetland and wetland to the glint of water. The sea is always close. Even when you can't see it, you can feel it. In the air, in the gulls' cries, and in the soft, constant dampness of your belongings. You live in a small family group, perhaps a dozen of you. Children, elders, those in between. Everyone carries something. Your day begins with gathering. 2. Take a woven basket, not yours, pass down and head toward the shallows. The tide is low this morning. That's good. The shoreline is rich in life, but also uncertain. What was dry last week might be marsh now. You step carefully, listening for the sound of your own footfalls in the waterlogged earth. You look for cockles, for seaweed, for signs of fish stranded in the rock pools. Some 'tis, the others come back with eels, or flint washed down from somewhere inland, or bone washed up. Strange bones. From creatures you've never seen. Sometimes large, sometimes broken. No one speaks much about them. The rhythm of your life is shaped by food and by weather, and more, by water. You've noticed the changes, even if no one speaks of them openly. A field that once was dry now collects puddles year-round. A stand of trees you used to visit. Gone now, swallowed by marsh. It's slow, but it's real. The elders have seen it too. Your world is shrinking, and the sea doesn't ask permission. Back at the hut, you gut your catch with a flint knife. The edge is sharp, but your hands are calloused. You move slowly, carefully. A simple fire crackles in the center of the shelter. It smokes more than it burns. The wood is always damp. Still, it's enough. You chew on fish dried hard as leather and roots boiled until they're barely bitter. Sometimes, you chew on nothing at all. Just wait. Sleep. Try again tomorrow. Nets, come early in Doggerland the fog returns. The fire dims. The reeds whisper in the breeze. You lie down again on your mat. Tired, but content in the way only hard work can offer. There is no written record of you, no name carved in stone, but you were here. alongside thousands of others scattered across the land. Fishing, foraging, fading. And then the sea came. Not suddenly, not like a wave, ever slowly. Season by season, inch by inch. One day, you look at a hill you used to visit and see the water now covers it. The land becomes too wet to grow anything, too salty to drink from. The ground grows soft, then silent, then gone. And eventually, no one returns. The world above you today knows you only by bones, by tools buried deep in what's now the seabed of the North Sea. But your world was real, and you lived in it. Day after wet, windy day. Just like this one. As the sun sets on this soggy grassland. We turn now to warmer waters.
Imagine a city of light and water. It sits at the edge of the world as it was known, between land and sea, between gods and kings. Its streets lined not with carts, but with boats drifting through narrow canals. This was Thonis Heracleion, a great Egyptian port city near the mouth of the Nile, once alive with trade, temples, and tide, and now entirely silent. Its name was whispered for centuries, half remembered in myths and sailors' tales, until its ruins were rediscovered under the Mediterranean in the early 2000s, resting beneath 40 feet of silt. And tonight, we visit it in its quiet prime, not as ruins but as life. You wake to the sound of rope creaking against wood. The air smells faintly of incense and fish. A breeze drifts in from the sea, soft, warm, a little sour with salt. You live on one of the many small islets that make up Thonis Heracleion. Your home, like others, rests on a patchwork of docks, sandbanks, and stone paths. The buildings are flat-roofed, shaded by palm thatch, and the Nile runs in quiet threads between them. You don't rise quickly. No one does. Here, the days begin slow. The sun warms the white plaster walls of the temple nearby. It glints off bronze trays as market stalls are assembled. Dates, woven linen, dried reeds, polished glass, spices in red, gold mounds. Boats pass, some small, pulled by hand. Others larger, carrying amphorae filled with oil or wine stacked low to avoid the low bridges above the canals. You help your mother grind barley? The sound of the stones, soft, rhythmic, blends into the city's morning hum. Around you, priests chant. Their words are lost in the wind, but their tone is always the same, low, sonorous, and steady. In the heart of the city stands the grand temple of Amun-Durib. It is enormous. Stone columns rise like reeds from a riverbed, each carved with symbols you cannot read but have memorized by heart. Your father once carried offerings inside. He said the air in the temple was cooler than anywhere in the city, still and sacred. He said the gods could hear your thoughts if you stood there long enough. You've never gone inside. Only watch from the edge, even that feels like enough. As the day moves on, the tide shifts. People shout across docks. A merchant from Cyprus lays out metal bowls. A family from inland Egypt unloads papyrus scrolls to trade for dye. Boats from far-off places drift in, their sails full, their decks creaking under the weight of cargo. You see a statue lowered from one, taller than 3 men, its face half covered in barnacle. You wonder how long it was at sea. But not everything in the city moves. Some things settle. And some sink. The land beneath Thonis Heracleion is soft. Silt and clay packed over centuries. The sea is rising, subtly, but noticeably. People begin to speak of tremors, of water that doesn't recede, of buildings whose walls crack not from age, but from something deeper. You hear that a statue fell last week. And not just fell, but disappeared into the canal below, as if swallowed. At first, people laughed, but less so now. The decline isn't dramatic. It is quiet, slow, and unremarked, like a candle burning down, like the tide slipping over a footprint in the sand. Eventually, the docks rot. The trade routes shift. The temple begins to lean. You are older now, you have moved inland, but part of you still sees that city every time you close your eyes. The water, always rising. The stone steps always damp. And then, one day, it is gone. For centuries, no one could find it. It had vanished completely beneath the sea. But the silence it left behind was filled only by the sound of fish, and the slow drift of silt over stone. And today, its pillars lie in place. Its statues, once bright with paint and gold, now sleep beneath algae and coral. Divers say it is peaceful down there, still, heavy, and beautiful. A city that once echoed with trade and prayer, now exists only in bubbles and sand. As we leave Thonis Hercle into its quiet slumber, let's turn even deeper, to a mystery that's never quite been solved, and may never need to be.
Beneath the waters off the southern coast of Japan, near the island of Yonaguni, something waits. It doesn't move. It doesn't glow. It doesn't threaten. It simply sits beneath the current, unbothered by time. They call it the Yanaguni Monument, a series of vast stone terraces, steps, and platforms, resting under blue water and silent drift. To some, it is nothing more than a natural rock formation shaped by tectonics, erosion, and time. An accident. To others, mighty, the remnants of a forgotten people, a civilization long submerged and long erased. No one knows for certain. But tonight, we don't need answers. We only need to float above it and wonder. Imagine. You're descending quietly, your body light with buoyancy, the weight of the surface world lifting gently from your shoulders. Too. The water here is clear, not cold, but fast. As you descend, a wide angular shape emerges beneath you. It does not look like coral. It does not ripple like sand. It is stone, sharp, geometric, massive. You land softly on a ledge. Beneath your feet, a staircase. Each step as long as your outstretched arms. The scale is unsettling, as if made for something bigger. Or for no one at all. To your left, a wall rises straight up from the seabed, its corners crisp, its face marked by faint, parallel grooves. Were they chisel marks? Or the patient work of water? No one can say. Archaeologists debate its meaning. Some say this was once part of an ancient city, perhaps Mu, a rumored civilization lost to the Pacific, like Atlantis to the Atlantic. Others insist it's just sandstone fractured by nature, a trick of perception. The ocean, they say, has sculpted stranger things. But here, under the waves, there is no urgency to decide. Only to notice. Only to observe. You drift from one level to the next. A tall, flat surface rises like a ceremonial altar. Some believe this may have been a stage for processions, for chants, for something now unremembered. Or maybe it was just a rock. You run your hand slowly across its face. The stone is cool and faintly worn smooth by centuries of tides washing over it like breath. Fish pass without concern. They have no memory of what may have stood here. A sea turtle glides above a trench so straight it resembles a hallway. At its end, two upright slabs lean like gates. Oars that once held a roof, now gone. The structure is vast, over 500 feet long and up to 90 feet wide. And it lies entirely underwater, resting like a puzzle with no picture. Was this a place where people lived? Or merely passed through? Was it a gathering site or a mistake of geology? If it was man-made, who built it? And why? Perhaps we will never know. Perhaps we are not meant to. Some questions are like waves. They rise, they fall, and they leave only quiet in their wake. Above the monument now, the surface shimmers. The sun is low. Light dances across the stone in soft golden ribbons. And below the monument rests, unmoving, unchanged, neither claiming to be a city, nor denying it, just being. Like so much of the past, no longer needing to explain itself. Just there, waiting, forgotten, but still whole. As we rise slowly back to the surface, the light growing softer with every moment. We leave Yonaguni behind. Ahead lies one final journey. To a place that once knew warmth, community, and ceremony. Before it, too, surrendered to the sea.
Beneath the waves off the coast of modern-day Israel, near a quiet inlet lined with reeds and rocks, rests a village that time forgot. Its name now is Yam, but when it was alive, there were no names carved in stone, no armies, no empires, just a community tucked by the shore, living simply, but not primitively. This was over 9,000 years ago, before cities, before metal, before pyramids or plagues or alphabets, and yet they built wells, they farmed, they buried their dead with ceremony. They knew the rhythm of the earth and the taste of salt on the wind, and they lived day by day in gentle relationship with the sea, until the sea quietly took them back. Imagine yourself in Yam. The morning is warm. The stones under your feet are dry, smooth. They form the floor of your house, one of several in a tight cluster near the waterline. Your dwelling is round, made of stone thatched with grasses. The walls are cool in the early sun. Outside, a clay pot steams softly over a small fire, fish stew, seasoned with something bitter but comforting. There is no rush, no clock. You wake when the light finds you, and sleep when the stars return. The air smells of ash and herbs. The sea murmurs quietly, just beyond the dunes. You're not alone. This place is small, but close-knit. Around 30 to 50 people live here, gatherers, fishers, and early farmers. You walk to the central area, a wide space surrounded by low stone walls. In the middle sits a large, ancient well. Its water is clear. You lower a bucket made of skin and wood, and draw up a cool drink. Even the presence of a freshwater well so close to the sea is remarkable. Someone, thousands of years ago, had to understand the Earth's layers, how water could be found beneath the surface, how to shape and line a shaft deep into the ground. This is not guesswork, this is wisdom. Nearby, children gather shells and small fish, not as toys, but as part of the morning's rhythm. A woman grinds grain against a flat stone, her movements slow and practiced. Yam was a place of sustenance, but not of desperation. They grew barley, they raised animals, perhaps goats. They harvested from the sea, and beneath all of this, they remembered their dead. You walk toward the burial site, a sacred, deliberate space. You remember the recent funeral. A woman, perhaps in her 40s, laid beside a small child. Their bones gently arranged, surrounded by offerings, shells, flint tools, and smooth stones. Their placement told a story, not of suffering, but of connection. Researchers today still wonder about that burial. Were they mother and child, teacher and student, guardians of some forgotten rite? No one can say, but the care in their burial speaks volumes. This was a people who honored memory in their own quiet way. At night, the fires glow soft and golden. You share the evening meal beside others, not strangers, but kin. Your leader, if they can be called that, sits beside you, no higher, no grander. They may be the oldest, the one with the most stories, or simply the one who listens best. There is no crown, no palace, but there is a presence, a calm steadiness that holds the group together. Their voice is slow, like the waves. They speak of tides and planting times, of how the moon shifts the water, of how their own grandparents once watched the shoreline pull back, then rise again, inch by inch. You listen, as you always have. And in the silence that follows, you hear the ocean, still waiting, still watching. One day, the sea comes closer. You think little of it. It has done so before, but then it doesn't recede. The land becomes soft, homes begin to sink, wells fill with brackish water, and slowly the village empties. Not in panic, not in flames, in movement, as if the people knew when it was time to go. They leave behind their stones, their hearths, their burials, and the sea claims them all. Today, Atlit Yam rests underwater, quiet, undisturbed. Divers speak of its serenity, its walls still standing, its streets faintly visible beneath seagrass and sediment. Here, the elite were not rich in gold, but in peace, not powerful by domination, but by care. And in this place, 9,000 years old, we are reminded that civilization can be gentle. It can be quiet. It can vanish, not with a scream, but with a whisper, O-U-T-R, O approx. 3 to 5 minutes, ambient sounds, slow fade into soft ocean breeze, a distant lull of waves. And now, we return to the present. We've walked the soft, sinking soil of Daggerland, heard the chants echoing from the temples of Thonis Heraclean, drifted above the puzzling terraces of Yonaguni, and sat beside the warm fires of Atlit. Each place, once alive, now resting. Each civilization, once vibrant, now part of the sea. But nothing is ever truly gone. As long as we wonder, as long as we remember, as long as we drift gently through these stories, they remain with us. Thank you for joining me tonight. May your dreams be still, your rest be deep, and your thoughts, like the ocean, soft, slow, and endless. Good night.